Joining us now in our newsroom, we have Kimball Richardson from Community Health. Kimball, it is always great to see you.
Great to see you guys. Thanks so much for always covering a mental health topic. We appreciate it.
Hey, well, this one is a really interesting thing, at least from what I'm experiencing. And I just kind of want to talk out loud a little bit. So I guess during the pandemic, we've seen people make a sweeping statement, but interactions among people, which even made headlines and news, lots of fighting, and people are just very frustrated given the circumstances and the environment. So can you speak to how the frustration and the environment and social behavior are linked?
Well, initially, when the pandemic started, we really had to go into survival mode. And it was all about self-preservation, making sure we're safe, not being around other people. And now, we're being asked to reintegrate ourselves, to put ourselves back into society, if you will, physically, emotionally, mentally. And that's a process. Now, what we had to do early on is we had to immediately stop the process. And that was traumatic. But now we can take our time a little bit and reintegrate with other people.
And reintegrating, now that we have this environment that is different, it's sort of where the pandemic is hopefully going to be passing, things are lifting, things are looking positive, and I'm seeing more, which I didn't in the pandemic, right? Like you said, people were frustrated. Things happened immediately when we were just kind of shut down and they were in survival mode, which is a really interesting way that you just put that right now. But Kimball, what about now? What I'm seeing, I don't know about you, but people are saying please and thank you and looking at each other in the eye when we walk past each other, when it's almost as if like we used to look away or, and again, I don't want to make a sweeping statement about that, but how does this environmental change affect these social behaviors that are coming back as we sort of make this return into the world?
Well, we are figuratively and literally without masks anymore. So we have to be more accountable for our behavior. You know, when we were all wearing masks, we had a little tiny bit of anonymity and we could maybe get away with a little bit more behaviors that perhaps were rude that we normally wouldn't if we were fully, symbolically naked, if you understand what I'm saying. So we don't have masks. And at the same time, some of the pressure has been lifted a bit. So we have a little bit of wiggle room emotionally. And when you put all that together, people are nice to each other again. And we're trying to be cognizant of other people's space and feelings and just trying to be more pleasant.
And right, you speak about survival mode. It's sort of me against the world, right? And it's really everybody else is just sort of out there in their own survival mode. And
right.
I like how you put that. And the interesting thing about the mask, you can have this sort of anonymity. So maybe you can have this do these behaviors that you might not normally do, and sort of hide behind that mask for, I guess, two reasons: to protect ourselves, but then this also sort of other personality might come out.
Right. Well, I think it's nice to know when we have a little less fear, we're more apt to want to be connected to people. Now, interestingly, when people feel afraid, they also want to connect, but we couldn't. We physically couldn't initially. And in order to survive, we had to put that scheme, if you will, that schema in our mind about we have to stay away from other people. Now we have to go to a place where we can understand how can we be with others in a safe way and do it politely. And I think most people are doing it that way right now.
And Kimball, I'm wondering, there's been so much tragedy. I mean, it seems as if like nothing, good has come out of it. But I would say maybe this has helped people understand to be a kinder, more gentler person in the world. What would you say to that?
I would agree. As you can see from my background, I'm out. I'm in my car. I gave a presentation this morning in person. Actually, it was a hybrid presentation. Some people were online. Some people were in person. And interestingly, when people got to the registration table, on their name tag, they could put a colored dot on your name tag. It was either red or green. And green meant I'm okay with handshakes and hugs. Red is I'm not comfortable just yet. So it gave you a signal ahead of time, and you didn't have to play that awkward, am I supposed to shake hands? Do we need to do elbow bumps or what? I thought that was really interesting. And it worked out pretty well.
That's such a good idea. Remember you talking about that previously when we were talking about friendships, and you had a person who wanted to go get coffee or go out to lunch, and it was like, yes, but I'd like to go outside. And that says something about, right, it's just very
Right.
clear when you have those stickers that it's like, yes, I'm okay with this, or, not so comfortable with this just yet. Gosh, any other thoughts you want to have to talk about? I mean, this sort of relationship between environment and social behavior, and how this pre-pandemic or pandemic and post-pandemic.
I believe that it's important for people to focus on being intentional about their mental health and mental wellness. And I'll even throw out another concept, which is mental fitness. And that means that we're keeping ourselves well intentionally, and we do it on purpose a little bit every day. And that's a little different than most people think about mental health, which is, hey, I'll work on it if I'm feeling stressed out or if I'm not doing okay. And I'm suggesting you do it even when you're feeling well to keep yourself moving forward.
I love the way you just phrased that, because right, our mental, we don't just want to, I think I was speaking to someone, and when you get to sort of the trenches of coping and, dealing and managing, you want to kind of prevent that. And if you have those muscles, right, that health fitness, then it doesn't have to lead there. It's almost prevention. Is that what I'm
That
hearing?
awesome. I love that. You hit it right on the nail. And that means that when we feel stressed, we have skills already as a go-to, and we can fall back on them versus having to figure out, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? And you know what I mean? So where it is muscle memory. That's absolutely what it is.
Wow. That's incredible. Kimball, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. So
Well,
insightful.
thank you. Always great to talk to you. I have great questions. You led me to it, so you already know what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. All right. Well, you take care, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay, thanks so much, Mary.